Hey, Tommy here. Today we're going to do a video about overhead mics. Overhead mic shootout. Audio Technica AT-2035 Sennheiser e614. So let's talk about these for a minute. First of all, the Audio Technica, this is a pretty popular mic. This mic is about $150 out there on the market. It's a cardioid, large diaphragm condenser mic. I use this for hi-hats and rides, mostly because it's side address and it fits in between cymbals. But after this, I might move them up and use them for my main overhead. This mic has got a low cut on it, as you can see. It also has a 10 dB pad, which means you flip that switch and 10 dB less coming in, right? This mic comes with a really sweet shock mount. Very cool. Holds it nice and tight. It's pretty big. It's pretty heavy. I had to really crank my mic stands down so it didn't tip over. E614 on the other hand, tiny mic. Super cardioid, so a lot more focused beam, I guess, if you will. Really no settings on this. You just plug it in and go. These things work really well. I've been using this mic for years, and one just like it because I have a pair. Okay? Let me tell you a little bit about my recording area. When you record from home, you have studio space wherever you can have it, and in my case it's in my basement. That is the cement wall about 6 inches from this drum, and over here is my furnace about 6 inches away from this side. So it is not awesome. It has a really low ceiling, so I probably couldn't find a worse place to record. So if you like what these mics sound like here, they're really going to sound good in a decent room. Now, I'm not going to go over how to set up mics or where to put them. I did a video before, and in the comment section you will find a link about how to set up overhead mics. I did close mic and a separated pair, so you can check that out and see what you like. I like the separated pair. My mics are pretty far apart, so take a look at this. My drum set's really big, and what I do is I split my drum set in half. So I've got the right side and the left side, and then I kind of take the center of that. So if I were to make an X between that half of the kit, I'd point the mic right at that spot. And it turns out to be about the ride cymbal on the right and about the hi-hat on the left. So I try to do my best to get them pretty similar. I actually do have a laser pointer that I hook to it to make sure they're good, and I measure everything to try to keep phasing issues from happening. I don't really have any, so that's something to think about when you're miking like this. Also, one of the hardest things for me to do was to find 4 mic stands that would go high enough. So here's a picture of how I have the mic set up, and you can see they're pretty identical. So I'm going to record one thing and capture the sounds all at once, and then we're going to do some listening. I'm not going to edit anything. It's just going to be the overheads and the kick, and you can hear what they sound like. So without further ado, let's take a listen, and then we'll come back and we will talk about it. But before we do that, so there is further ado, I want to show you on my input how much more gain the Audio Technica has. The first 2 knobs there that you see are for the Sennheisers. The next 2 are for the Audio Technica. So you can see there's much more gain coming in. So I imagine if the low, or if the 10 dB pad switch was engaged, that we wouldn't have to do that on the input, but I did, so all the levels are the same going in, but no effects, nothing tricky. That's just what we have. So now, without further ado, here you go. Alright, now that you've heard the complete take, first with one, then the other, I thought I would show you what it looks like in Logic, show you that the levels are pretty much the same. Sennheisers are up here in blue, Audio Technica in orange, and then the bottom is my kick. It's a Sennheiser 902 if you're interested in that. Take a look here. Everything's raw, nothing fancy going on the overhead. There was a little something something on the kick, of course. So what I want to do now is break it up so you hear more individual pieces back and forth and not a big long piece and then another big long piece. So what you will notice here is no bass drum. So everything you're about to hear are just through the raw overheads, and that's it. Sennheiser on top, Audio Technica on the bottom. Here we go. Alright, so there you go. I'm not going to tell you what to think about it. You heard it. You can decide what you think about it for yourself. Everybody has different ears, so I like them both. I'm actually going to stick the Audio-Technicas up as my overheads now for my band's next album, which we're getting ready to do in the next week or so. And I'll put the Sennheisers on the ride and the hi-hat. We'll see how that goes. So, there you have it. Oh, forgot to mention, I mentioned this one's about $150. These are about $199, $200. So you're looking at $300 for a pair or $400 for a pair. So in my drum dungeon, these work really well for me. So hopefully they'll work well for you. I don't get anything from these guys, by the way, for doing this. This is a service to my fellow home recording drummers, because there's a lot of information out there, and I've been doing this for a little while, not too long, so I have no idea really what I'm doing, but I'm trying different things. So if you like what you see, go ahead and hit subscribe. I'm going to be doing some other videos. I'm going to do bass drum mic shootout. I'm going to do bass drum mic technique video. I'm going to do some comparisons between the two Sennheiser mics that I have, the 902 and the 602, and I'm going to throw a 57 in there because everybody has a 57. And I'm working on some room mic videos. So I'm going to have some videos coming up, as well as lots of music from my band, which is also linked below. So there you have it. We'll see you next time. Everybody be good. Be safe.